Redditors, what is the worst fit of gamer rage you've seen experienced? My cousin throwing his Sega Genesis controller out the window. We were on a 5th floor. He was 11. That was the only controller he had. My sister broke both our Sega Genesis controllers playing The Lion King. I tried to explain my plight to my parents as I was too young to have the means to replace them myself, and they hit me with a "well, next time you should take better care of your stuff." I'm not on great terms with my parents or that sister now. World of Warcraft. Wrath of the Lich King era. I was in a guild raiding ICC. We got to the 4th boss quickly, but it took us 4 months to kill it. One night someone suggested a different method from the one the guild master was making us do, and the guy flipped his freaking crap. A grown-ass man just started yelling to the point his voice broke into a scream, going on about the disrespect everyone is giving him by telling him other methods and not being able to kill it. The guy actually forced people to server migrate the next day, £20 ago, on their mains and alts which had raided with them so they could find better talent. Never seen anything like it in person since then. Joke was on him though. The 8 or so of us who stayed behind joined another guild and we completely cleared the place in 2 weeks. There's a guy in an apartment somewhere above me. He's had some pretty gnarly episodes. I haven't heard him in ages, so either he learned to tone it down, or moved out or something. But I'm pretty sure one day he flipped over his TV stand or a shelf or something, because I remember hearing him go off and then a loud crashing sound happened. Ah, my old neighbor must have moved in above you. I once found his stream and asked if he could keep it down. Screaming, then silence after hearing a crash sound over the mic. The crash was cut off pretty quick, so he must have thrown his headset really hard against the wall. The sound of victory. First screams, then silence. My ex would cuss, throw things and flip things if I managed to beat him in any video games because he's way better than me at all games. He broke a broom in half and pointed the sharp edge at me once because I beat him as his Smash Bros main. He broke a broom in half and pointed the sharp edge at me once because I beat him as his Smash Bros main. Please tell me that was when he became the ex. I had a roommate years ago in college who was the living definition of a toxic league player. Here's a list of things that happened that instantly jumped to mind. 1. On a daily basis hear explicits ranging from crap all the way up to minority and racial slurs. 2. Things being thrown across his desk or against the wall. 3. Threatening to get a car and run over our dorm neighbors since they told him to shut up on finals night. Yet I didn't last a full year as his roommate. Sounds like you rage quit them as a roommate. Doing some parkour in Minecraft with some people. Saw this man miss the last jump and said he is going to go cry in the bathroom. I'm just imagining a very defeated voice saying this, not angry. Okay, it was me. I'm not proud of this, but one time, I was losing in an online game. Like bad. I didn't have my headset, so I couldn't vent to the other players. It actually got so bad I turned the console off, powered down the television, got off the couch, and did the dishes that I'd been putting off for an hour. Whoa man, I understand rage, but the dishes is too far mayo. Not sure if it was gamer rage, but back when I was in college I saw someone throw their PlayStation out a dorm window while screaming profanities. I was outside the building so don't know exactly what he was saying, but I was not sticking around for that drama. This is the thing I never understood about gamer rage. Breaking crap. All you do is cost yourself money and make yourself more pee. Crap friend went on a 5-minute rampage about how bad I am and how I should kill myself IRL. So I sarcastically go along with it, because it's just a game. I'm not that bothered, and they threatened to record it and send it to everyone I know. Just a little angry, considering it was also a casual game. Terraria gets crazy. Second hand, but someone threw my SNES copy of Final Fantasy III against the wall and broke it while I was letting them borrow it because they raged out during a boss battle loss. I got the game working again, but it wouldn't save, which is a pretty big deal for a Final Fantasy game. Safe to say they won't be borrowing anything anymore. I was playing Tekken with my friends. I'm very good at that game, so it was hard for them to beat me. We were having a good time. Then a guy wanted to challenge me. I beat the crap out of him, but there was one round that he had me almost dead. Everyone was thrilled. Then I won. He got mad and threw my controller against the TV, breaking it and the controller, then crying at me and saying I'm sorry. I was just shocked. Days passed and he just disappeared from the earth. Yeah, the good old days. At the arcade, some guy was trying to master playing both sides of DDR. He kept losing and getting more and more frustrated. I thought he was just pouring that anger into go fast cause dude started getting really fast. Then he lost one time to men and donkey kicked both screens. He was shaking the bars of the dance platform when security started getting close and he bolted threw a trash can at the glass on the way out, shattering that. DDR doubles as serious business. I played tons of it years ago, as well at ITG2 doubles, and I've never had an episode like that. I have seen others that have major tempers over it, though. Years ago I dated a guy who was a gamer. He was playing League of Legends ranked. I don't play the game so I don't know the specifics. He kept losing and told me how if he lost one more game he'd go down to bronze or something like that. I tried to be the encouraging girlfriend and told him to play one more and I believed in him and he could win that one. He lost and then said it was all my fault for making him play, that he should break up with me and never listen to me again. I remember staying up at night for days and days crying myself to sleep about it and telling myself I was an awful person. And now I've been out of this relationship for a few years. I look back and wonder, why the frick did I stay that long? If he got demoted down to bronze he definitely wasn't that good either. I think bronze is the second lowest tier out of I think 7. This happened on The Gathering in 1998. Back then huge bulky CRTS was the way to go. A guy sitting a couple seats away from me was spending most of the time there playing team-based FPS XMS. He had a lot of rages, hitting the table, screaming SND so on. So much that the people sitting around him kindly and jokingly asked him to calm the frick down the first evening. He didn't make much of a nuisance of himself throughout the night. Could see him vibrate with anger at times though. This calmer behavior continued the next day and all was fine until he just went totally insane. First there was this loud primordial scream and he showed himself backwards so hard that he crashed pretty hard into the guy sitting on the row behind him. He then rolled back to his computer, probably totally oblivious to the collision, and started banging on his keyboard. Keys were flying, ripped it out and started smashing it on the floor, pieces flying everywhere. When he was done with his keyboard he grabbed his 25 kilo CRT, lifted it as high he could and threw it on the floor, causing it to explode. All this happened within a 20-second, perhaps less, time frame. The kid was only 12 and there by himself. I believe they put in a recommend 15-year minimum age requirement after this incident. I do not know what happened to the kid. We never saw him after the organizers led him away after the incident. Some guy in his 40s came and picked up his stuff at the end of the venue. Suspect it was his father or something. Also, exploding CRTs make a big boom and lots of glass everywhere. I found shards inside my computer years later. For those younger than 30, The Gathering was a huge warehouse LAN where hundreds of people would bring computers to play network games for days on end when the internet was slow and expensive. It's truly one of those you had to be there things. This was actually me when I was in high school. After going 0-3 at Friday Night Magic, I put half of my draft deck under each of the rear wheels of my Volvo 240 and did the closest thing a Swedish brick can do to a burnout. That must have been a good old pile of rage, and yeah, my rages were usually just a few seconds of being a moron and then feeling bad about it, but you had enough of it in you to walk outside and do all this. Spectacular. I didn't do much to act out on the rage, but the most angry I've ever been is when I first got the game Tales of Symphonia for GameCube back in the day. It was summer break and I was 15, so I had no real responsibilities, so the day I got the game I played it all day. Got about 8 hours in on that first day before my parents made me go to bed, and got up and got in another 4 hours before my sister, she was 12, starting whining to my mother that she should get a turn. So my mom made me let her play after about a 12-hour playtime for me. I think you can see where it is going. She got bored after about an hour, so I hopped back on the GameCube, went to load up the save file, and the only file I had a 120-ish playtime. My little sister, who was 12 years old and perfectly capable of knowing what she was doing, saved her own game over my 12-hour file. For those not familiar with Tales of Symphonia, there are basically infinite save slots so long as you still have space on the memory card. So no reason to not pick the myriad of empty slots. I was beyond livid. Oh man, the worst part about that is how slow and boring the first 8 hours or so are. You have like no abilities, so most fights you basically just repeat the same combo until you win. Boss fights are still fun though because you have no way to stun lock them reliably and have to dodge and guard correctly. I once broke a keyboard in half over my knee. Freaking toxic Mobas. I shocked myself so much that I quit the whole genre forever and ever. I'm convinced that Mobas will always be some of the most toxic games you can play. Very few competitive genres have enough downtime or multitask ability to type and talk trash as something like LOL. Never have time to type in any shooter, racing game, fighting game, or BR. My copy of Assassin's Creed 2 doesn't have a case. I snapped it in half because I kept failing a timed jumping puzzle and lost my crap. In a TF2 casual match, someone got a 8-kill streak as sniper. I killed them. They were whining in chat how I was a tryhard. I ruined his fun, etc. Then called me a cheater and tried to get my team to vote kick me from the match. Didn't work out. His teammates were so tired of his crap that they vote kicked him from the match. Might have been a year ago from now. I still remember it to this day. Felt really bad because 8-kill streaks are really hard to get. Felt really bad because 8-kill streaks are really hard to get. Yeah, but achievements are earned, not given. Same way I feel about pentakills in LOL. If I'm the last on my team, no, I will not just let you kill me. You gotta earn that crap. Putz 12, a streamer infamous for his rage, once punched his webcam so hard it fell off its stand and into a glass of water he had set down. But before it turned off, it got a look at his legs. A fan slowed down the footage and it turns out that he wasn't wearing pants. My stepson has the most volatile gamer rage ever. It was a phenomenon we assumed he would grow out of, but he is now 17 and it persists to this day. It's just getting more and more out of hand and destructive as he gets older. We tried stopping him from playing FIFA, which is the game that triggers him most, stopping his Xbox Live account, taking his remotes when he was younger, but after his punishment is over he goes back to the same patterns of behavior. As he has ages he has his own bank account and income, so it's hard to stop him from getting Xbox Live and FIFA nowadays. It seems a bit petty taking a games console off a person who is almost legally an adult in the UK. His behavior escalates to the point that when he is in full flow it lasts for hours and he turns against anyone unfortunate enough to get in his way, making his house inhospitable to his mum and my daughter. I no longer live in the house with him. Me and his mother separated years ago when he was 7, so a lot of this is what I've heard off his mother secondhand. On the odd occasion his gamer rage has resulted in him being kicked out of his home and I've taken him in. He has brought his Xbox and when I hear him starting to rage I go and speak to him in a rational and calm manner. I don't let him escalate, but the behavior is still boiling under the surface. I think the reason he doesn't kick off here is because he knows I won't tolerate him smashing my house up and I can physically restrain him. Whereas at home he has no respect for his mother and challenges her physically whenever he doesn't get his own way. It would be interesting to see if there is a link between gamer rage and domestic abuse, because I'm pretty sure he is a ticking time bomb. I've suggested taking him to a doctor to get assessed and maybe some anger management therapy, but his mother thinks it will just justify his behavior to him, making him think it's okay to behave the way he does as he has an excuse. I'll never give up on him because I'm the only father figure he has. I just worry for his future when he carries such a temper and a lack of respect towards women. That's not how me and his mother raised him. Whoa, I really hope you guys can get him some help. That sounds terrifying for everyone involved. I used to babysit our neighbor's son after school. He was an absolute terror, spoiled rotten, and whenever he got in trouble, it was either baby talk until he got out of it or blame everyone but himself. He loved video games. His mom gave him whatever he wanted. We fell into a rhythm. He'd come over, I'd get him a snack, he'd do his homework, and then he could play video games for about an hour or so until his mom got home. He loved Mortal Kombat, probably not the best game for him, but it and Dead Rising were the only ones he was really interested in. He would not even try anything Nintendo, and most of my Xbox games were in the M category. He was the classic case of when he's doing good, he'd talk trash. Thankfully just to the NPCs and not to real people. But when he'd get beaten by an NPC, he'd repeatedly slam my controller down on the floor. I'd tell him to stop, he'd stop, until he lost again, then he'd be right back to slamming it on the floor. I'd tell him if he did it again, he wouldn't be allowed to play, so he'd behave for about 20 minutes or so. I told his mom the first afternoon it happened. She said she'd talk to him. The kid could control himself, make no mistake. Because once I told him if he busted my controller, he'd be paying for a new one. The controller slamming completely ceased. Always soul spawn. Get careless farming. Go too far or enter the wrong door and lose 10 levels of resources. The kicker is that you have hope of getting them back after you die, but one mistake and there goes hours of work. 10/10 angry air punches. My abusive ex punched holes in walls, broke controllers, flipped tables, screamed at threw our cat among other things when he got gamer rage. Because of that, I do not trust men who can't control their temper over video games. I see gamer rage compilations on YouTube, and I do not find them funny. I find them disgusting tbh. Yeah, it's just ridiculous tbh. Not mine but my old Ra from college. He was playing a console game. He was near the end of whatever he was trying to accomplish. He lost right at the end and he was so pissed he slammed his controller onto the lid of his laptop and put a dent in the back so hard it cracked the screen on the other side and damaged it so bad it needed to be replaced. Was playing a match in the CSGO 99 Damage League. After like 8 rounds, we were far ahead. One of the opponents went AFK. We asked what's up. Turns out he got so ragingly mad he smashed the table with his fist so hard he broke not only it, we got a pic of that, the white coating was completely cracked open and the wood was visible, but also his hand and had to go to the hospital. Obviously we won. We need pics. That's hysterical. Was playing a VR game called Rec Room. I was using a weapon called a whip, a very fun and very good weapon. Everyone was trying to get the whip, but I got it. However, I was lagging so hard I was wondering whether I was wearing a headset or a potato taped to my head. Like, really hard. There were times where it froze for up to a full minute before I could go back. And since the whip takes a bit of time to swing and reach its destination, using it was literally impossible. In the games before this, I was dominating. I complained about it over mic. Only thing was, I was 12. So the collective response from everyone was yeah, sure, you're losing because of lag. Keep crying, buddy. I played like halfway through the match before I got so upset I quit. Love Rec Room. One time I was online in a casual 2-fort server on TF2. This was a time where 2-fort was a haven for friendlies and not bots. More than half the server was friendly, and those who were playing normally did not interfere. Then get this, some random butt pyro came in and just started burning everyone. Once everyone in the middle was dead, we started talking about how we were just having fun, and asked them to not interrupt our friendly circle. Then he got extremely pissed and started angrily talking about how crappy friendlies are, calling them various slurs because how if I say the N-word people will think I'm cool. It was the angriest I've seen anyone be over friendlies. Once it had gotten to the point where nobody could be friendly without him interrupting. The enemy team, forgot to mention the pyro was on our team, began targeting him. Not just those who were friendly, the entire enemy team. Needless to say, he got even more upset, screaming into his mic at a decibel that could kill a man, and he was eventually kicked for obvious reasons. LOL. I always thought that people who killed friendlies were new players that didn't know any better. Guess not. Seriously, just let me conga. I started crying because my favorite game at the time was being overrun with script kiddies. Still is. I play other games now. Arsenal is ruined. Arsenal is my favorite game when it does not want to make me throw my computer out the window. I smashed numerous Xbox and Xbox 360 controllers when playing the NCAA football games. I had anger and anxiety issues that I bottled up and that's when I released them. Doing much better now with games. Not quite as skilled at games as I was but able to just enjoy them more. It took me a few years to get my wife to finally play a PC game with me. She was all about older console games, nothing wrong with that, but I told her she would love newer PC games if she gave them a chance. I got her to play a certain co-op game with me, 850 players versus the computer. We both picked classes and the game started. She struggled at first, which is normal in this game. One of the other players started getting nasty towards her, even swearing directly at her through his headset. I told the guy to lay off. She was new and learning. He started swearing at me too. Okay, big deal. She picked medic and isn't healing you instantly across the map. Get over it, dude. My wife got upset, logged out, stormed off and told me she was done with it. Great, first game and this dirtbag ruins it. Then he sealed the deal by laughing at how he made her rage quit mid-match. I logged off, searched his username, and within 5 minutes of searching I had all sorts of dirt on this guy, including his real name. I figured I'd just screw with the guy and maybe he'd lay off new players. I rejoined the game. He instantly goes, "Oh, look who comes crawling back. Mr. White Knight, hey, it would be nice if you apologize to her." Chat goes dead silent. Then I got a massive slew of F-bombs thrown my way, including him saying some pretty rotten things about my wife. Okay, friendo, we'll talk in a few. I alt-tabbed, made an account with his profile picture and messaged a few links to his wife who I had found on Facebook. I returned to the game and said, "Hey buddy, that was my wife that you said those things about. Now she doesn't want to play." Speaking of wives, does yours know that you have an active adult friend finder account? Or that you've been bragging about cheating on her? Or what you call her behind her back? He spouted back all sorts of profanities. Said I had no clue what I was talking about, etc. Easy there buddy, your wife's phone is about to buzz. I think you have some splaining to do. Within seconds he logged off. I didn't see him back on Steam again. I told my wife, "Hey, don't worry about that jerk anymore. I think he's gone for good." 5 or 6 months later, my wife asked whatever happened with that guy as I was retelling the story to a mutual friend. Out of curiosity, I opened that fake account and had a message from his wife thanking me for letting her know. I clicked her profile and saw that they were no longer together. He got thrown out, and most of her posts were about not putting up with abusive relationships. That's legendary. Go you. Sounds like you really helped a victim, and I hope your wife gives their PC games another chance. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.